Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. We are so excited to have Joseph Giampapa joining us here live on the show and on the Zoomcast as a professional speaker, self-empowerment specialist, and humorist. Of course, he's helping people learn the best tools for building success. And by the way, successful. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about what he does because not only does he do this, he was a comedian, still is. He's written 3 books or more at this point. There's a lot to you, and congratulations on being here and all your success. Joseph, welcome back. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, Jill. Thank you for having me. My goodness, that buildup was something else. I think I better quit
Well,
while I'm ahead.
no, yeah, and there's way more than that. But let's introduce yourself to everyone that may not know of who you are yet.
Okay, well, basically, I'm a self-empowerment speaker. I deal with self-empowerment. I had a private practice for 10 years. I've written 3 books on the subject, and basically, I help people kind of tap into their potential, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. And where do we start? With the coaching, with the speaking engagements, with what? Tell me.
Well, I'm fascinated with the potentiality that we come into this world with. It's amazing, because there's no such thing as an insignificant human being. I mean, it just doesn't exist. We come in pretty much prepackaged. It's almost like I like to use the analogy of seeds. If you have a little acorn or even a mustard seed, it looks just like a little grain of sand or something. But if you water it and plant it and nurture it and everything, it's going to become this magnificent, beautiful bush. Or an acorn is going to become this magnificent oak tree. We don't know what each of us can become until we tap into it and tap that potential.
So you are helping people tap that true potential for sure.
Oh,
And you
it,
tapped your own with all your success.
well, thank you. I don't like to think of my success as much as helping my clients with their success. Zig Ziglar, one of the great motivators of our time, said, "It's so sad that so many people go to their graves with their songs unsung." And
Mm,
you think, what a waste of potential. How many great arias there could have been, how many beautiful paintings there could have been, what inventions there could have been. But so many people see, I've had people come into my office, and they feel like their life's over at 30 years old or 35, and you think, wow, you've got all this potential inside of you and your whole life ahead of you. And it has nothing to do with age, has nothing to do with education, the color of your skin. None of that matters. Like I say, we come in pre-packaged, and that's cool.
it is cool. You mentioned we're born prepackaged. Majority of the people don't understand their true potential. So that's where you come in from a large family, right? Of 11.
Oh
Um,
yeah, family of 11. Nine kids. 9 kids. That was a big family. But to me, I didn't see it as a handicap. I thought it as a benefit because we all learned cooperation early on. We learned to care. We learned to share. And basically, we kind of mentored each other in our particular fields or whatever. So I think I was very blessed by having a big family.
for sure. And I could imagine. Is that where the comedian skills took in? Because someone had to hold it all together.
Well, no, actually, the comedy came as a survival thing, I think. I was always a very short little kid, and I come from a very tough neighborhood. I come from Cicero, Al Capone's town, and a lot of gangs and a lot of tough guys and everything. And I think humor helped me save my skin a lot of times. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's interesting though. Humor is it's a great leveler, and it helps de-stress a lot of situations and defuse a lot of situations. And I think that's neat. So, like in my case, I think it was a survival technique when I was little. But I I love the beauty that you see in people when they laugh. To me, one of the best sounds in the world is a little child laughing wholeheartedly from what I call the inside out. just a pure, beautiful laugh. I think that's wonderful. And anybody, actually a real belly laugh. I think that's about as neat as you can get, I mean that's it's wonderful to laugh because when we laugh it produces neuropeptides in our system. It's an actual healing agent. The old cliche, laughter's the best medicine. There's fact to that, actually. It's not just a little cliche. There's actual fact to that. That laughter helps you to heal. It helps reduce stress and everything else. So yeah, I'm an advocate of laughter.
I love it. And what did you want to kind of focus on for today? I mean, the books, the coaching. I'm letting you take the reins here, being it's our first
Well,
Zoom.
Well, thank you. I would like, if nothing else, I would like people to realize that they're walking around with all this fantastic stuff inside of them to get them to where they want to be or where they should be, if you will. Some people think, oh, I don't have an education, or I have the wrong color skin, or, I'm born on the wrong side of the tracks. None of that matters.
Mm-hmm.
We are completely self contained. We are successes waiting to happen.
Wow.
And I like to help people tap into that and become what they truly are meant to become. And it doesn't mean they have to be CEO of an organization or anything or a specific job type or anything. Maybe you're born to be a peacemaker,
Yeah.
or maybe you were born to be a negotiator or whatever, different things. But it's amazing. By the time we're an adult, we pretty much know where our gifts are, and we need to start following those. I had a professor who used to say, why not go out on a limb? That's where the fruit is. It makes so much sense. A lot of people are afraid to take risks. They say, what if I fail? I say, yeah, but what if you succeed? You know, I mean, it's amazing. If you keep going, you will succeed. The only time you fail is when you quit. You have to keep going, and people don't understand that. They're afraid. We're in our comfort zone, and they're afraid to come out of our comfort zone. Success is always beyond our comfort zone, always.
And you're doing that now more and more, the lecturing. What's next for you? Where are you headed next?
Oh, I don't know. I think I just like what I'm doing now. I think I just continue lecturing and perhaps write a fourth book and go that way. It at my age now, I'm getting a little bit up there, and I just like sharing some of my experiences because, like they say, experience is a great teacher, and so I feel I do have things to share with. I'm not out there to mandate that people become this or become that or do this or do that. In my lectures, I tell people, I said, I'm not here to boss you around or tell you what to do. I'm just here to share information. Take what you want, what you don't want, leave. I won't be insulted, I don't care. But I'm just here to share some of the experiences I've been through and that were successful for me. And chances are it might work for you if you try it.
Got it. Oh my goodness. And it's like there's so much out there that people, you want to live your best life, right? Not everybody knows how to get there, how to do it. And we've had some,
Exactly.
you've had your fair share of battles. Do you mind sharing a little bit about a lot of us overcome certain things and you're living proof that we can
Well,
get through it.
I've I've been through a bankruptcy. I lost a couple of businesses and everything. I lost a house during a crisis one time, and the biggest thing I think was the loss of my son. That took me a good couple of years to kind of really deal with. As a matter of fact, I live out here in Nevada with all the mountains and hills and things like that. After my son passed, I found myself walking the hills for days on end and everything else. And after about a year or so, I start getting different ideas in my head, and I always carried a tablet and a pencil with me, and I start writing down different things. And at the end of about a year and a half to 2 years, I kind of collated all these different scraps of paper I had and everything. That was my first book. So, yeah, I realize, as long as we're breathing, we still have things to do. So that's pretty much my attitude.
Yeah. And do you want to highlight some of the books? Do you want to talk about the unlimited potential out there that's for people out
Well,
there who's looking to work with you and how it
well,
works to,
sure. Thank you. Basically, all my three books are all guidebooks. They kind of take you a step by step, kind of like holding your hand to get you to where you want to be. The first book that I wrote is called "What I Will, I Can." I don't know if you can see that. There's kind of some glare there and stuff,
yeah,
but it's "What I Will, I Can," and it says self-empowerment tools for life. Okay, and it's got like 21 different precepts in there that if you if you do nothing more than just follow a few of them, your life's going to be a little happier and a little better, I think. The other one I wrote is called Unleash the Super You Within. And this one is specifically a guidebook. It has fill in the blank features and everything else. First, with like an assessment of where you are now, and then where you want to be, and then step by step of how to get there. So
yeah.
it's actually like a little workbook, textbook, if you will, but it's very easy read. Most of my books can be read in a couple of hours at a single sitting. And then the third one is a basically a very small one. It's basically like a journal. It's just simply called Tools for Life. And this one, you keep adding pages to it and everything, and hopefully a person can get this and keep it for the rest of their life, kind of making entries as they go along on life's path.
Love it.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm on my books are on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and everything, but if they want a discount or something, they could go to whatIwillican.com. And that's it'll have all the books on there and explain a little bit more about each book, that type of thing.
Great. And, currently here you are, you're based out of Nevada, right?
Yes, Reno.
Are you doing mostly, coaching like this over Zoom?
Uh, no, a lot of it's personal.
Okay, good.
One on one in the local area, local region. I plan down the road to offer some classes now,
Okay.
but and that will be on the net, and I will be doing some individual work on Zoom down the road.
And do you mind sharing your story about, how you started out in the entertainment industry, what you did? It's just a great story. I think we should hear it.
Oh well, I was in the army. It was during the Vietnam era, and somehow I got sidetracked. They put me in Army intelligence, which to me is kind of an oxymoron almost right there. But I kept saying, no, I'm in the other Army. I went in as a comedian. They told me they needed entertainers. So I
Wow.
went in as a comedian. As a matter of fact, they assured me the boat I was going over on would be related to the Queen Mary. I thought that's pretty cushy. I get to ride on a big ship. And it was called the King Kong. I mean, we had to take turns breathing every minute of the way. I told people I was hanging over the rail one time. An officer walked up, looked at me, and he said, "Soldier, has the brigadier been up yet?" I said, "Sir, if I ate it, it's been up. Trust me." It's one of those deals. But I learned a lot of interesting things being in the Army and sharing the stories with the guys. And I think that's why we had such great success because they say misery loves company. So talking with all the soldiers and everything about, I was one of them. So they liked that because I could identify with a lot of things they were going through. And
Ah,
it was, you know, they can identify with me perhaps a little better than just a straight comedian coming from the States or something.
yeah.
I was down in the trenches with them and everything. So it was interesting. I enjoyed touring around with the guys. Plus, I'm an oldie. It was in the days of doo-wop and Motown and that type of thing, and a lot of those guys were getting drafted.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, maybe the drummer from one group would be drafted, and then maybe the guitar player from another group, and before you know it, we'd form our own new groups, and we'd be able to tour around and entertain. And the same thing with singing. You hear about guys standing on the street corner forming, a cappella groups and everything. That's how it was always in our barracks. You get one guy from New York, you get another guy from LA or something, and one guy would start snapping his fingers, another guy would be and before you know it, you got harmony going, and then they start singing. It was wonderful. Everything was spontaneous and creative.
And you grew up in Chicago, right?
Yes. Yes, the suburbs of Chicago I lived. Yes.
And could you share about, I know you have your master's in communication, you have a lot of accolades, actor,
Oh,
director,
well,
playwright.
well, thank you. You know, that and a dime would get me a cup of coffee, as they say. But I was, I got my discharge in Europe and lived in England. I was based in London and I used to travel all around.
Hmm.
And I met my wife there. My wife was an au pair from Switzerland.
Oh, wow.
And so I went to Switzerland about a year later, and we were married in Switzerland, in Zurich. And I wanted to finish my degrees. I only had, maybe a few credits in college, and that was it before I went in the Army. So somebody told me about Reno, Nevada. And I said, they said, "You ever hear of Reno?" I said, "Not really. What's so famous about them?" And they said, "Well, they have a university basically right in town with all the casinos and nightclubs." So I
Wow.
thought, well, that's pretty cool because I could work the nightclubs at night and go to
Yeah.
school during the day. So my wife and I came out to Reno, and I kind of got hooked on education at the university. And before you knew it, I kind of phased out the entertainment end of it, and I became a teacher. I taught in the high schools here, in the middle schools. Later on, I taught at the college, and that was pretty much it. From that, I ended up, like I say, having a private practice
Yeah.
also, and kept me out of trouble.
So what brings you joy currently?
Oh, what brings me joy is helping individuals that I feel are stuck in life and going nowhere. When I see them start to come out of their shell, if you will, and start to encounter new things and everything, it's beautiful to see that. It's like a rose blossoming, and that's awesome. We're like rose buds all over the place, but not many of us will blossom. And it's neat when the light bulb goes on in a person's head and they decide to become something more than what they are now. It's awesome.
Well, there's something that you want, for your listeners today, for those out there who could use that extra help in a sense, that extra, tell us what you hope to accomplish now in your career and helping others.
Well, I think the key thing, the key message is number one, like I mentioned at the very beginning, we're all prepackaged. It's inside. It's not a question of can I make it? It's a
Mm-hmm.
question of when will I make it? Okay, all the ingredients are in there already, and you got to take risks. People don't understand that. You got to take chances in order to get what you want, and you're not going to succeed every time.
Okay.
Sometimes, excuse me, you're not going to make it right off the bat, but those are learning experiences. We
Wow.
all tend to have little inklings of what we should be doing and everything. And a lot of times we just bury that. But, a good example for me, I come from the Chicago area. Back there, horse racing was real big when I was a kid. And there was a jockey, world famous. I guess he's the biggest purse winner ever and everything. His name was Eddie Arcaro, and won more races than anybody else and everything. But what people don't realize, Eddie Arcaro lost his first 45 races. Now that's a lot
Wow.
of races to lose. I mean, 45 races in a row. Now the thing that gets me is, what was going through this guy's mind when he got on the
Yeah.
horse the 46th time. If somebody said, "Well, Eddie, have you ever won a race?" Well, no, I haven't. I mean, but yet he knew he had something inside of him to give to the world. He knew he had what it takes to be a good jockey. And the rest is history, as they say. He just
Ah,
kept going. And the 46th time he did it. And then from then on, he started winning like crazy. People
yep.
don't realize that. We all start out falling on our face,
Got
but
it.
you got to keep going. I could tell you a story about a guy who he went in the army a lieutenant and came out a private. You know, he opened three businesses and he lost every single one of the businesses. It's amazing. He ran for local politics, didn't make it. Then after all
Mm-hmm.
that, he decides to try for president and made it. Abraham Lincoln. I mean, if you follow this guy's life, you'd say, what a loser. But yet he kept going because he knew he had something to share. And sure enough, he reached his goal, and the rest is history, as they say. He was a
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal president. So
Sure.
the idea is you got to keep going, keep trying.
Well, and that's what we're not going to give up. We're not going to stop. Joseph Giampapa, that's spelled JosepGiampapa.com. To work with you, how do we contact you? I got the website down. Is there a phone number?
Yes, 775-657-6147.
All right. And if someone, of course, wants to purchase your book, we can get that on the website on our Amazon as well.
Yes, but I'd recommend that they go to whatiwillican.com.
Perfect.
There's, there's
WhatIwillIcan.com.
yes, because there's discounts on there and it explains each book and everything else.
All right. There's some great testimonials, of course, too, about the work that you're doing, that you've done in general, corporate world, educational world. Um, did you want to share any of the people that you're working with, some of their stories?
Well, I tell you, the key thing is it's all programming. I think a lot of times we get locked in. They say we do everything today that we our subconscious programmed yesterday. And when I work with people, I help them to reprogram their subconscious. And it's amazing because, you know, on a daily basis, I give them the tools to work with and everything, and they would come to me and they'd say, I don't really see any progress or anything. And it's amazing because when they first came to me, they were kind of bent over, closed up, and stooped. And now when they come to me, they're standing straight, they're more erect, their hands are going, they're more animated. And it's amazing because the growth is subtle and slow. And sometimes we can't see the forest from the trees, but it's amazing. If we keep going forward, we're going to make it. We have to make it. We have to become what we are meant to become as long as we don't quit. It's amazing. I tell people, I'm in Nevada, a gambling state. I tell people if you take a silver dollar, you throw it up in the air and catch it and put it on your hand and it comes up heads. Wow, that's cool. You do it again, look at it, it's heads again. So you try it a third time, you throw it up, catch it, it's heads again. Now that's 3 times in a row it came up heads, but deep within you, you automatically know sooner or later tails is gonna come up. And that's how it is with us. We can go and fall flat on our face and go and fall flat on our face, but sooner or later we're going to make it. So we have the key is to keep going, to keep going. And
Aw.
that's so important.
No, it is. Well, we still got 2 minutes left in the show. So, how did you want to kind of leave off for today?
Well, the bottom line is there's no such thing as basically all of our limits are self-imposed. Okay, everything is programmed. We program our subconscious on a daily basis. They say here in the Western world, society tends to program themselves to fail every day because we say things like, I can't do it. Maybe when I was younger I could do it, but now I can't. I'm older. Okay, you can't do it. Boom. I think we need to realize that all the limits we have within us are self-imposed. Remove the limits and you create major success. I tell people, watch what you say with your mouth because it goes directly in your ear and starts to program you. The
Hmm.
Russians found out during the Cold War that we are audio programmable. Whatever we say with our mouth imprints in our subconscious. So we have to watch that because so many of us are pre programming ourselves to the negative. So
Yep.
I say, watch what you say with your mouth and enjoy life.
Well, I think it's exciting the work you're doing. As always, you're here to help. If someone wants to work with you, you offer an initial consultation.
Yes, I do. Absolutely. And like I say, they can call me on the phone, 775-657-6147. I'll be happy to talk to them about anything.
Well, thank you so much. And don't forget, pick up a copy of his books, plural. One more time, tell us the website.
Whatiwillican.com.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you and great to see you here in person.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You take care. Thank you.
All right, have a great day. Thank you. And to all of our listeners, please stay tuned. More of the shows coming up after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.